But what was going on in here? George stopped working and pressed his nose against the window. 2 painters were working inside. George was fascinated. Painting looked like a lot more fun than washing windows. Sorry friends, I don't know why my video stopped, so I had to turn this video into 2 separate videos. The painters were getting ready to go out for lunch. The minute they left, George climbed inside. What wonderful paints and brushes they had. George could not resist. Oh no, what's he gonna do? An hour later, the painters came back. They opened the door and stood with their mouths wide open. The whole room had changed into a jungle with palm trees all over. The walls and the giraffe and 2 leopards and a zebra, and a little monkey was busy painting himself on one of the trees. Then the painters knew what happened. Luckily, George was close to a door. He ran out as fast as he could. After him ran 2 painters, then the elevator man, and then the woman who lived in the place. "Oh, my lovely room," cried the woman. "Don't let him get away." George headed for the fire escape. Would you be angry if Curious George came in and painted your room? George reached the end of the fire escape. The others had not caught up with him yet. Here was his chance. They could not jump, but George could easily jump down and escape. In a moment, he would be safe. Poor little George, he had forgotten that the pavement was hard as stone, not like soft grass of the jungle. Oh no, it looks like Curious George got hurt, he said. Too bad, the fall broke his leg and an ambulance came to take George to the hospital. "He got what he deserved," said the woman, "making my apartment into a jungle indeed. I told him he would get in trouble." The elevator man added, "He was too curious." George had to lie in a bed with his leg high up in a plaster cast. He was very unhappy. And it had all started out so nicely. If only he had not been so curious, he could have had a lot of fun. Now it was too late. Poor George. But the next morning, George's friend, the man with the yellow hat, was buying his newspaper. Suddenly, he got very excited. "This is George," he shouted when he saw the picture on the front page. Quickly, he read the whole story and then ran to the telephone booth to ring the hospital. "I am George's friend," he said to the nurse who answered the telephone. "Please take good care of him so that he will get better quickly. I want to take him to a movie studio and make a picture about his life in the jungle. Don't let him get into any more mischief until I can take him away." Finally, the day came when George could walk again. "Your friend is going to take you away this morning," said the nurse. "Just wait right here for him and don't touch anything." As soon as George was alone, he looked around at all of the strange hospital things. "I wonder what was in that big blue bottle," he thought. George was very curious. It smelled funny. Suddenly, his head began to turn. Then he felt as if he were flying. Then rings and stars danced before his eyes. Then everything went dark. Looks like he got into something he wasn't supposed to. And this is how the man with the yellow hat found George when he came to call for him. Then picked him up and shook him, but they could not wake him up. He was so fast asleep that they finally had to put him under the shower. How surprised he was when he woke up. Imagine if your parents couldn't wake you up, so they put you in the shower and turn the water on. George said goodbye to the nurse and the kind doctor. Then he and the man with the yellow hat got into the car to drive to the movie studio. In the president's office, George had to sign a contract. Now he was a movie actor. Wow, I wish I could be a movie actor like George. Sounds like fun. In the studio, George was kept so busy all the time that he forgot to be curious. He liked the jungle they made for him, and he played happily there. I bet George misses the jungle. What about you guys? I probably would have just left George in the jungle. And when the picture was finally finished, George invited all of his friends to see it. The doctor and the nurse and the ambulance driver and the man from the newsstand and the woman and the elevator man and the two painters and the cook and the reporter and all the keepers of the zoo. That was nice of him to invite everybody. Even the people that were mean to him. Now the lights went out and the picture started. "This is George," a voice began. "He lived in the jungle. He was a good little monkey. He had only one fault. He was too curious." El fin. The end, amiguitos. Bueno, ahora les voy a enseñar unas palabras en español del cuento. Now I'm going to show you guys some words in Spanish from the story. So first off, a story in Spanish is called un cuento o un hada. And does anyone know how to say monkey in Spanish? Chango. Chango. Jorge es un chango. George is a monkey. Y es un chango muy curioso. Super curioso. And he's a very curious monkey, right? ¿Dónde vivía George? ¿Dónde vivía Jorge? Where did George live? In the jungle, right? En la jungla. Can you say la jungla? Muchos animales viven en la jungla. Lots of animals live in la jungla. ¿Qué otra palabra aprendimos? What color is George's friend in his hat? What color is the big hat of George's friend? It's yellow, right? Does anyone remember how to say yellow in Spanish? Amarillo. Amarillo. George's friend is el hombre con el sombrero amarillo. Ok, amiguitos. Bueno, vamos a cantar nuestra canción de adiós y nos vemos después del fin de semana. Adiós, amigos. Nos vemos mañana. Adiós, amigos. Nos vemos mañana. Adiós, amiguitos.